Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. You're watching Windows to Heaven Art. I'm Stephen Cooley. Let's get straight into the video. I have heard it said that drawing is a prerequisite to painting. Our painting improves as our sketching improves. I want to do some sketches because I've been doing a lot of painting lately. I want to bring you guys along with me, so let's jump straight into it. Like you would expect, we need some pencils, erasers, and I'm also going to be using a few Q-tips here. I'll get into what I use those for as we progress, but I am going to be sketching in my sketchbook, which has really nice paper, and I do recommend using some nice paper because it just, I don't know, it just really helps out the process a lot. So we're going to choose a pencil and hop into it. I start off making a very basic sketch very lightly. That's why you can't really see what I'm sketching. That way I can do some erasing and tweaking of the image, but what I want to do is just provide a foundation to build off of. And the reference material that I'm using is actually some pictures I found in a garden magazine of some butterflies that I thought would be fun to just dive into a sketch with. That's what I'm working on here. After I get the lines the way I want them for the sketch going forward, then I start to go over it again and make darker marks. I do that because when I am sketching out the sketch initially, I am just doing it by eye. I'm just looking at the reference photo and then sketching it out. And I do it lightly because if I did the marks hard, then I wouldn't be able to erase them very well. For example, if I notice that the wing of the butterfly needs to be a little bit bigger, if I've jumped right in and done a really hard sketch mark initially and then got it wrong, it'll be hard to erase and redo. So that's why I keep my sketch very light in the beginning until I get it the way I want it. And that's just a practical thing to remember when you're sketching that is really helpful. But why are we sketching to help our painting skills? That's kind of the question that you would be asking, I think, going forward in this video, because of my introduction where I said that this is going to help our painting. Well, if you think about it, it makes sense, because sketching is I would say, a very simple form of art. Really, all that we're doing is using values. And in art terms, values are essentially how light or dark something is on a scale of white to black. So we're not dealing with the complexity of colors. We're not worrying about colors when we're sketching. So it's a simple way to practice something that is very important in your painting. And we'll be learning lessons in our sketching that will apply to our painting. Values, like I've just stated, are very important in our painting as well. They can, I think, make or break a painting. And you can do so much, as we'll see with the sketch here, with values alone. And if we can master values in our sketching, then we'll be able to know them like the back of our hand when we start something more complex, like a painting, where we're employing colors as well. And not to mention, sketching is a great way to improve simple things like hand-eye coordination that we often take for granted when we're painting. Your hand and your eye are learning to work together deftly when you're sketching, and it will only improve your painting. And I like to I like to sketch rather from observation, like I'm doing here with reference photos, where I just look at what I want to sketch and then I skip all the tracing. I don't do that. I just draw what I see, because that is a great way as well to practice for painting when you're using reference photos and you want to get good at capturing something simply by looking at it. You can see here I am using the Q-tips to blend the graphite to shade certain areas. All this is practicing how to do values. And that is, like I said before, a very, very big part of painting. Learning how to get good values is going to accomplish a lot in your painting. And simply put, sketching is a great way to learn that. You notice that I'm resting my hand on a separate piece of paper that is laying on top of parts of the sketch. The reason I'm doing that is because there are oils and acids in your hand that can rub off onto the sketch and make things a whole lot more difficult. That can get in the way of your sketching. So by putting down this piece of paper that I'm resting my hand on, I'm protecting the sketch from smudges, from those oils and acids in my skin. And then you can see as well that I'm using the eraser to create light highlights on the sketch, much like we would adding white or very light values in a painting. I guess, simply put, sketching improves your painting ability because it allows you to practice creating art in a very simple form. You don't, like I said, you don't have to think about what colors to use. You're just thinking in terms of light and dark. And when you master that, it will be all the easier to add in colors onto that foundation of learning that you've already established sketching. Just about done, just putting a few finishing touches on it. And this particular sketch probably only took me 2 hours, I'd say, all in all. And I feel like I came away from it learning about painting, which is odd to say. And we're going to flip the page and start another one. And I have another picture that I'm looking at of a swallowtail of some sort. And I'm just applying the same technique of sketching it out lightly first so that I can get it, you know, the proportions and everything the way I want from the beginning, so that I can start sketching over the top of it darker and building on top of the foundation I have already laid lightly. Another thing that you gain from sketching that you can use in painting is just the concept of you're starting out simple and then you're ending complex. It's a progression of improving your image one step at a time. When I start a work of art, I'm not thinking about how it's going to turn out in the long run. I'm just taking it one step at a time. And that way I don't overwhelm myself. And it also helps me stay focused and get from point A to point B in a organized way that is streamlined to make the best use of my time. when we think about doing art with this mindset of simple to complex, it works out a lot of the kinks and helps you create your own internal method for creating art that you just can lean on every time you begin a unique work. I've noticed this in my own painting. I don't sit down at a canvas anymore and wonder, where do I begin? I have a method that I lean on for doing my work that I can follow the same way each time for every single work that I do. And that really helps you be efficient in your work. And then also, when I do any erasing on the sketch and I want to wipe off my sketch from the stuff that I erased, maybe there's bits of eraser or whatnot, I don't use my hand because, like I said, I don't want to get any oils or anything on the sketch. What I did was I used a paper towel to wipe off the junk instead of my hand. Sketching is a great way to practice for painting as well, because it doesn't require a lot of prep. It doesn't require a lot of tools, although you can branch out and get some pretty unique sketching tools. It doesn't require a big setup. All you need is paper, pencil, and erasers, and maybe some Q-tips. And you can still, you can still do it. You can still learn from that. And so I think it is a great way to supplement with your painting if you want to improve your painting, or maybe you just like sketching just to turn out a good sketch. Sketching is very, very enjoyable, I think, for one of the reasons, just because it's so easy to do. These sketches really didn't take all that much time in comparison to painting. Painting, you have to think about so many different things, like dry time if you're using oils, mediums, mixing with your oil paints, etc., etc. Sketching is so straightforward and so simple that it is a great way to keep fresh with art and keep practicing and getting better. So much so that I want to get more into a practice of sketching regularly along with painting. After I put in the date, the sketch is finished, and I've turned out 2 nice butterfly sketches that I think is going to help in my painting in the long run. That wraps up for this one. Thank you guys so much for coming out and doing these sketches along with me. I hope it was beneficial to you as an artist. Just to know that you can improve your skills on the canvas with paints simply by grabbing a piece of paper and a pencil and doing some sketches. Enough said. Catch you guys in the next one, and until then, God bless you guys. We'll see you later.